going to need a measuring tape, a sander of some sort, 3 wooden dowels, and 4 pieces of flatter wood like you see here, a pencil, and a drill with a drill bit of the thickness of your dowel. The length of the dowels depend on the length of your dog. So I did mine about 35 inches, and then I cut my 4 flatter pieces of wood to the height of Callie, which I totally over measured. But you can buy pre-cut wood at your local hardware store or craft store. So lay 2 pieces out like this. This is going to be the peak of your teepee. You're going to place your dowel in the center of those 2 pieces and trace it, and then drill your holes through those pieces. It should fit perfectly like this. I then traced and drilled a hole near the bottom of each leg because that's where you're going to put the second and third dowel. I went ahead after all my pieces were cut and drilled. I just took my Ryobi circular sander with the 180 grit and sanded down all the pieces to make sure that Callie wasn't going to get nicked by any little splinters. Now this is where I realized I did not get thick enough dowels, because if you buy dowels that like firmly fit in that hole, this will not fall apart. So do not do what I did here. It was so frustrating. So I had to resort to a second option. So my first attempt was to just nail 2 of the pieces together to see if that would like hold the structure a little bit better, and add some wood glue as well to keep it from like splitting apart, but that still didn't help the wobbliness. So you will not guess what I did. I just flipped it upside down and I hot glued the pegs into place since they weren't thick enough to hold on their own. I had to glue them all together. Now that we have the base built, we just need to add the fabric. So you need fabric glue, hot glue, a pencil, scissors, and fabric, obviously. Lay your fabric over your teepee and measure how much you're going to need. I had to do this a totally different way than planned because I wanted to be able to change the fabric, but because I had to glue my pegs in, I had to just glue it directly onto the dowels. So I just took some fabric glue, folded it over, and made like a little sleeve for the dowel. And if you had the dowels to be able to be removed, this is where you could slip on and off the fabric to the teepee. That was my initial idea. Once that was dry, I just flipped it on over and I repeated the process to the other dowel. But again, if you were able to remove these, you could just make these sleeves and slip them on, slip them off, but I'm kind of stuck with that fabric now because I messed up. To make the covering for the front and the back of the little tent or teepee, whatever you want to call it, I just put some fabric over the front, marked it with a pencil, cut that out, and then hot glued it to the inside, on the inside of the pegs. I then sliced up the middle of it and then opened it up with 2 little doors. This is where you can add ribbons or any of your accessories that you wish to add, but I just kind of folded it over on itself and tucked it behind the peg, and it looked super cute and minimalistic. Now all you gotta do is find a home for it, put a bed insert if you want to, or a piece of foam, and throw a blanket down. It's totally up to you. After all said and done, I love the outcome, but I definitely measured way too big for Callie. This thing is way bigger than I anticipated, so be sure that you're pretty cautious on your measurements. And, you know, I think in this situation, less is more, but, you know, that's just me. Oh, are you peeing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, you weirdo?